Welcome back to Kindness Stories, the place where real courage, hidden kindness, and unexpected moments of grace come alive. If you believe in the power of empathy, second chances, and standing up for what's right, you're in the right place. Sit back, get comfortable, and let's dive into a story you'll never forget. Asterisk on a crisp autumn morning, a young teacher named Emily Bennett adjusted her glasses as she stepped out of her old sedan. In the school parking lot, the chill in the air made her pull her cardigan tighter around her shoulders. She was 26, straight out of graduate school, and this was her first real teaching job. Jefferson High wasn't exactly known for its warmth or welcome. It was a school in a tough part of town, its hallways echoing with a mix of ambition and hopelessness, the walls covered in graffiti despite the janitor's best efforts. Asterisk Emily had grown up just a few miles away, in a neighborhood not too different from this one. She knew what it felt like to be invisible, to be bullied, to feel small. Maybe that's why she believed so fiercely that teaching was more than lesson plans and standardized tests. It was about seeing people, especially the ones no one else wanted to see. Asterisk she walked briskly through the parking lot, clutching her canvas tote bag filled with essays she'd stayed up all night grading. As she reached the entrance, she could already hear the dull roar of students gathering before the first bell. Her heart thumped a little harder than usual. She'd heard rumors about a group of kids who decided she was an easy target. New teacher, young, soft-spoken, easy prey. Asterisk inside the building. The smell of cheap cafeteria food mixed with old textbooks and teenage sweat. She made her way to her classroom, past clusters of kids who barely noticed her. Except for one group near the lockers, they noticed. Asterisk their leader was a tall boy named Jason, broad shoulders, chipped tooth, and a stare that could freeze boiling water. He leaned against the locker, flanked by the boys and a girl, all wearing the same smug grin. Asterisk hey, Miss Bennett, Jason called, drawing out her name like he was savoring it. You look tired. Rough night. His friend snickered. Asterisk Emily didn't break stride. Good morning, Jason, she said softly, unlocking her classroom door. She'd learned not to engage too much. She told herself they'd get bored and move on. But they didn't. Asterisk had started. Small notes slipped under her door. A rude word scrawled on her whiteboard. A desk chair mysteriously missing when she arrived for first period. Then one afternoon, she stayed late to help a struggling student with algebra. She'd stayed so long that the hallways were empty by the time she gathered her things. Or so she thought. Asterisk as she stepped into the corridor, she heard footsteps behind her. She turned to see Jason and his crew. They were blocking the exit, eyes gleaming with something meaner than mischief. Asterisk where you going, Miss Bennett? Jason asked. You in a hurry? Asterisk she clutched her tote bag to her chest. Please step aside, she said, trying to keep her voice calm. Asterisk they didn't move. One of Jason's friends snatched the bag out of her hand, rifling through her graded essays, tossing them onto the dirty hallway floor. Emily lunged forward, trying to grab them back, but Jason stepped in front of her. Asterisk relax. We just want to talk, Jason said. He took a step closer, so close she could smell the cheap cologne he'd probably splashed on in the boys' bathroom. Or maybe he'd stolen it from his dad. Asterisk suddenly, he reached out and grabbed the edge of her cardigan, yanking it so hard the buttons popped off and scattered like marbles. She stumbled back, her glasses falling to the floor. Laughter echoed off the lockers. Her heart pounded in her ears. Asterisk one of the other boys lunged for her shirt, tearing it at the shoulder seam. A sudden heat rose up her neck. Fear, anger, humiliation, all boiling together. She could see Jason's eyes, hungry for her reaction, waiting for tears, waiting for her to break. Asterisk, but she didn't break. Something inside her snapped, but not in the way they expected. It was a snap like a branch bending afar in the wind, then springing back with force. Asterisk she remembered her father's words when she was 12 and a boy twice her size shoved her into the dirt. Never start a fight, but if you have to finish one, finish it. Asterisk she took a deep breath, eyes locking on Jason's face. Then, before her fear could stop her, she stepped forward, grabbed him by the collar, and slammed him back into the lockers with a metallic thud that made the other kids flinch. Jason's smirk disappeared, replaced by wide-eyed shock. Asterisk the hallway fell silent except for Jason's stunned gasp. Emily stood there, her chest heaving, the torn edges of her shirt fluttering. She didn't say a word. She didn't have to. The message was clear. She wasn't prey. Not anymore. Asterisk one of Jason's Friends whispered, "Holy crap, dude," and they scattered like leaves in the wind. Jason stumbled after them, rubbing the back of his head. Shooting one last bewildered glance over his shoulder, Emily sank to her knees, gathering her scattered essays with trembling hands. She could feel the adrenaline wearing off, the tears welling up now that she was alone, but beneath the fear, there was something else. A seed of defiance, a promise to herself that this would not break her. If anything, it would make her stronger. The next day, the rumors flew through the school like wildfire. The new teacher had stood up to Jason. Some kids laughed, some were impressed. Some, like Sarah, noticed for the first time that maybe Miss Bennett wasn't so soft after all. Sarah was 15, quiet, always hunched over her notebook in the back row. She'd been on the receiving end of Jason's cruelty too, but she'd never seen an adult stand up to him, not like that. After class, Sarah lingered while the other kids filed out. "Miss Bennett," she said softly. Emily looked up from her desk, her shirt mended with awkward stitches, a faint bruise on her forearm. "Yes, Sarah." I just wanted to say, that was brave. What you did. Emily smiled, though her eyes were still. "Tired? Thank you, Sarah. That means a lot." Sarah hesitated. "Can you teach me how to be like that?" Emily's smile widened just a bit. She motioned for Sarah to take a seat. "Of course. We'll start with the hardest lesson. You ready?" Sarah nodded. The hardest lesson is knowing you're worth standing up for. From that day on, Emily's classroom became a small sanctuary. Word spread that Miss Bennett was different. Tough, but kind. Strict, but fair. She didn't turn her back when she saw bullying in the halls. She called it out. She made it stop. Some teachers whispered that she was reckless, but the students knew better. They knew she cared enough to fight for them, even when it was uncomfortable. Even when it put her in the crosshairs of kids like Jason. One afternoon, months later, Jason found himself alone in the hallway with Emily again. He'd been avoiding her since that day, but now, he lingered by her classroom door while she erased the whiteboard. "Miss Bennett," he said quietly. She turned, cautious but calm. "Yes." Jason. He shuffled his feet, eyes fixed on the floor. I just wanted to say I was out of line that day. I'm sorry." Emily studied him for a moment. The arrogance was gone, replaced by something vulnerable, maybe even real. "Thank you, Jason," she said. "I appreciate that." He looked up, surprised she didn't rub it in. He nodded once and turned to go. But before he disappeared down the hall, Emily called after him. "You know, Jason," she said, "your strength doesn't have to come from scaring people." He paused, but didn't look back. Instead, he gave a small, almost invisible nod. Then he was gone. Over the next few weeks, Emily noticed a change. Jason stopped lurking in the halls with his crew. He started showing up to class more often. He didn't become an angel overnight, far from it, but he didn't mess with kids in the hallway anymore. And sometimes, when no one was looking, he'd pick up trash or help a younger kid with their locker. Small things, but they mattered. It wasn't magic. It was just a seed planted in rocky soil, hoping for sunlight. Years later, when Emily moved on to become a vice principal at a bigger school, she found an envelope in her mailbox with no return address. Inside was a single piece of lined paper, the handwriting jagged but careful. "Miss Bennett, you probably don't remember me. Or maybe you do. I was a jerk to you once, more than once. You didn't let me get away with it. You didn't humiliate me either. You showed me I could be more than the tough guy everyone was scared of." I'm in trade school now, trying to do better. Just wanted you to know. Thanks for not giving up on me before I knew I was worth not giving up on. Emily read the letter 3 times before she folded it and tucked it into the back of her planner, where she kept things that mattered most. Little reminders that sometimes kindness looks like softness, but sometimes it looks like steel. And sometimes it's both. So if you ever find yourself standing in a hallway with people who think they can tear you down, remember Emily Bennett. Remember Sarah. Remember that kindness isn't weakness. It's courage in a torn shirt and a spine of iron. It's seeing the person whose heart is to love and believing they can be more. Thank you for listening to this story on Kindness Stories. If you felt something today, share this with someone who needs a reminder that kindness can change even the hardest hearts, and that standing up for yourself can be an act of kindness too. Asterisk, stay strong, stay kind, and I'll see you in the next story. Asterisk.